What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's feeling good. Hope everybody's doing well. Guys, we're back with an update. If you don't remember this story was about this guy's wife asked for a temporary separation. Now, you all know what that means. She's cheating. Yes, he knew it. He found out. He divorced her. Guys, he's back with an update. If you don't remember that story from yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and play it first. If you guys want to go straight to the update because you remember it, go down to the description, click update. It'll take you straight there. Let's get into it. She asked for a temporary separation to find herself. I divorced her. Hey, true story. I've been watching your channel for a while now, and let me just say, it's been like therapy hearing stories from other men going through similar betrayals, heartbreak, and the kind of mental gymnastics some of us have had to endure. It made me feel like I wasn't crazy, so I figured it's time I tell my story. My name is Daryl, and this is the story of how my marriage ended, not with a bang, but with a lie, wrapped in self-discovery nonsense. Let's take it back to the beginning. I met my ex-wife Tasha at a friend's barbecue about 7 years ago. I was 28 working full-time as a mechanical technician, and she was 26 doing social media marketing. She was vibrant, smart, funny, had this ability to light up any room she walked into. The connection was instant. We ended up talking all night on that little patio while people were getting drunk and playing cornhole. We exchanged numbers, and from that day forward, we were almost inseparable. Dating her felt easy at first. We had chemistry, long conversations, and a lot of fun, but I'd be lying if I said there weren't warning signs early on. About 4 months into our relationship, I noticed she still followed and liked a lot of her ex-boyfriend's posts. At first, I didn't care. I'm not the jealous type. But then I started noticing how often she mentioned him in random conversations, like, oh, Marcus used to take me there, or Marcus and I had this inside joke. You ever get that gut feeling something ain't right? Yeah, that was the first time it hit me. We ended up having a huge argument one night because she invited Marcus to her birthday dinner without telling me beforehand. He showed up, and I played it cool. But after we left the restaurant, I told her that wasn't cool with me. She got defensive, told me I was being insecure and that they were just friends. I told her I wasn't okay with any man who used to sleep with her showing up to our events like he's still relevant. That fight nearly ended our relationship. We didn't speak for a week, but surprisingly, it was her who came back and apologized. She said I was right, that she wasn't fully over the dynamic and needed to create better boundaries. That was the first time I felt like maybe we could get through anything together. And we did, for a while. After that, things really clicked. We moved in together about a year later, and I proposed to her on our third anniversary at the exact same barbecue where we first met. She cried, said yes immediately, and told me I was her home. The wedding was simple, beautiful, and intimate. Just family and close friends. We didn't go over the top, and that was fine with us. We were focused on our life together. The first 2 years of our marriage, honestly, they were great. We cooked together, traveled, binge-watched shows, and just enjoyed being in each other's company. Of course, we had small disagreements like any couple, but nothing serious. Then one day, out of nowhere, she says, "Babe, I think I need some space, like a temporary separation, just to find myself." Now let me paint this picture for you clearly. This woman woke up next to me, kissed me like she always did, then came home later that day with this find myself talk like she was reading from a script. I laughed at first, thought it was a joke, but her face was dead serious. She kept saying things like she was losing her sense of identity and just needed time to reconnect with who she was. I asked her if there was someone else. She swore up and down there wasn't, said she wasn't trying to end the marriage, just hit pause. But here's the thing. The week before that, she was acting different, starting petty fights out of nowhere. saying things like, "You don't really get me anymore," or "I feel like we're just coexisting." I should have known right then and there she was laying the groundwork, almost like she was trying to manufacture a reason to distance herself. Anyway, I played it cool, told her I'd think about it. But the next morning, I woke up and knew something was off. So while she was in the shower, I grabbed her phone. Normally, I don't go through people's phones, but something in my gut told me I needed to know what was really going on. I opened her messages and boom, there it is. She'd been talking to some guy named Austin. I scroll up and realize this wasn't new. They'd been messaging for weeks. He was some dude she met on TikTok of all places. They had flirty exchanges, inside jokes, even little pet names. And then I see it. "Can't wait to finally meet you tonight." It felt like my stomach dropped through the floor. She was literally planning a date with this guy on the same night she told me she needed to find herself. Yeah, she found someone else. I didn't say a word. I didn't confront her. I didn't argue or demand answers. Instead, I went cold, shut everything down. I went completely radio silent. I called off work for 2 days, contacted a divorce attorney, and started prepping my exit. That night, she left the house wearing her cute little "I'm single again" outfit. You know the one. Told me she was going to her sister's. I just nodded. That was the last time I saw her in person until our divorce hearing. She texted me the next day like everything was fine. "Thanks for understanding. I'll only need a few weeks to figure things out." I didn't reply. About 3 weeks later, she got served. She tried to call me a few times, left some voice messages crying, saying she didn't think I'd go this far, that she thought we were just taking space to breathe. I ignored all of it. My lawyer told me I was doing the right thing. No contact meant no confusion. Fast forward to the divorce hearing. She showed up looking like she just finished crying for an hour, makeup smudged, wearing all black like she was going to a funeral. I was calm. I had my documents, my timeline, my evidence. Then she pulls a stunt I still shake my head over. She tells the judge that I blindsided her, said she asked for a separation and I betrayed her by going straight to divorce. Claimed she never wanted a divorce, that she was still madly in love with me and was hoping we could work things out. I'll admit, hearing her say all that was wild. Like, did she forget she was sneaking around with a TikTok guy? Did she forget the flirty messages and the planned date? She even suggested marriage counseling in court, right there in front of the judge. My lawyer glanced at me, and I just shook my head. I declined. What was the point? You can't rebuild trust on top of a lie. You can't ask someone to put their life on pause while you go explore someone else, then expect them to be waiting for you when it crashes and burns. The divorce was finalized in under 2 months. No kids, no house, no shared assets, just a clean break, and thank God for that. Since then, I've been focusing on me. Hit the gym again, reconnected with old friends, took a solo trip to Denver that I'd been putting off. I've also been reading a lot, journaling, even started therapy. Because honestly, even though I'm the one who initiated the divorce, the betrayal still messes with your head. Makes you question your worth, your judgment, everything. But I'm healing. Slowly, but I'm getting there. I wanted to share this because a lot of guys stay quiet during this kind of thing. We bottle it up. We act like it didn't hurt, but it does. It's like grieving someone who's still alive, someone who chose to leave, not because you mistreated them, but because they were bored, because someone on the screen gave them dopamine. Anyway, thanks for the platform, man. Your channel helped me through some dark nights when I needed to hear that I wasn't the only one. I hope my story helps someone else out there see the signs before it's too late and trust their gut when something feels off. Stay strong, fellas, and never ignore your instincts. Update, I'm doing better than I ever expected, and that needs to be said too. Hey, True Story. This is Daryl again. I wrote in a while back about how my marriage ended after my ex-wife asked for a temporary separation just so she could sneak off and go on a date with some guy she met on TikTok. You probably remember, I'm the guy who went radio silent, lawyered up, and filed for divorce the same night she thought she was going to play me. Well, I know you're probably still going through stories and emails, but before you post anything about mine, I wanted to send you a follow-up, part 2, if you will, a kind of what happened after. Because honestly, I think it's just as important to share what healing looks like as it is to share betrayal. I want your viewers, especially the men, to see that just because you hit rock bottom emotionally doesn't mean you stay there. There's life after betrayal, and in my case, that life turned out better than I could have imagined. So here goes. Chapter 1. The immediate aftermath. Rebuilding from the ground up. Let me be real with you. The first few weeks after the divorce were rough. Even though I was the one who filed, there's still that deep, hollow ache when the dust settles. You start questioning yourself, not because you regret your decision, but because the silence can be deafening. I kept wondering, did I miss something? Was I not enough? Was there something more I could have done? I think a lot of men go through that. We internalize everything, blame ourselves for someone else's choices, but therapy helped, and time helped even more. I leaned heavily into structure. I created a morning routine that kept me disciplined. Wake up at 6 a.m., hit the gym by 6:30, protein shake by 8, shower, and then hit work. I was working from home at the time, and keeping that tight schedule gave me a sense of control again. It sounds small, but structure saved my life. I also started journaling every day, just dumping my thoughts onto paper. The anger, the sadness, the questions, the memories. After about 3 weeks, I started noticing a shift. I stopped writing about her and started writing about me, about what I wanted, what I deserved, what I was learning. That's when the real transformation started. Chapter 2. Fitness, finances, and finding myself again. First major accomplishment. I got in the best shape of my life. When I tell you that heartbreak is the ultimate pre-workout, I mean it. I dropped 22 pounds of fat in the first 3 months and gained back about 15 pounds in muscle. My energy shot through the roof. I went from running a 10-minute mile to a consistent 7:30 pace. I started boxing for cardio, signed up for my first amateur tournament this fall, just something to keep me sharp and focused. Second, I tackled my finances. One of the silver linings of not having joint accounts or shared debt with my ex is that the separation didn't destroy my financial foundation, but I took it a step further. I created an emergency fund, maxed out my Roth IRA, increased my 401k contributions, and started learning about index funds and dividend investing. Every Sunday, I dedicate a couple hours to financial literacy, books, YouTube, podcasts. It's empowering. I paid off my car in full. I got my credit score up to 792. And next spring, I plan to buy a duplex and rent out 1 unit. It's always been a goal of mine to get into real estate, and now I'm on track. Third, I finally started my side hustle. Back before the marriage got rocky, I always talked about starting a small mobile detailing business. Cars have always been a passion of mine, but I kept putting it off, either because I was too busy trying to make the marriage work, or because I was constantly trying to plan around someone else's mood swings. Now that I have full autonomy, I registered the LLC, built a simple website, and started offering services on weekends. I named it Clean Break Detailing. Yeah, little nod to my situation. What started as a weekend work has turned into something pretty lucrative. I have 5 recurring clients, one of which is a small used car dealership. I'm thinking about hiring someone by next summer if it keeps growing. Chapter 3. Social life. Peace and new connections. I didn't realize how isolated I'd become in my marriage until I got out of it. Wasn't intentional, but over the years I had slowly stopped hanging out with friends, turning down invites and giving my ex all of my emotional energy. So after the divorce, I made a commitment to reconnect with the people who had always been in my corner. I started meeting up with my guys every other Friday for drinks or bowling. I rejoined my old fantasy football league. I even started volunteering with a local mentorship program for high school boys, helping them learn basic financial skills, job interview tips, and how to communicate. That part's been healing in a way I didn't expect. Being there for younger men who don't have father figures, that's food for the soul. Also, and I wasn't planning this, I did meet someone. Not anything serious yet, and I'm definitely moving slow, but I met her at the gym, of all places. Her name's Maya. We started talking between sets one day, then got coffee a week later. She's kind, grounded, funny, in a sarcastic kind of way. She's also divorced, been through her own storm, so she gets it. No pressure, no games, just genuine connection. I don't know what will happen, but it feels healthy, and that's new for me. Chapter 4. A letter to my former self. Sometimes I look back at the guy I was during those last few months of marriage. The version of me who was walking on eggshells, trying to keep the peace, hoping his wife would come back to the man she claimed to love. If I could talk to that guy, I'd tell him this: you are not crazy for trusting your gut. You are not weak for hurting. You are not less of a man because someone failed to honor you. I'd tell him that walking away was the beginning of everything he ever wanted. That silence, solitude, and heartbreak were the doorway to strength, clarity, and freedom. I'd tell him that he didn't lose a wife. He lost a lie, and he gained himself. Chapter 5. The Road Ahead. Future goals and what's next. So what's next for me? Short-term goals: expand clean break. Detailing into a full-fledged operation with 2 vans and a small team. Travel to Japan, always been on my bucket list, planning it for next year. Finish a personal finance certification course I'm taking online. Mentor 3 young men through high school and get them into college or trade school. Long-term goals: own 5 rental properties by the time I'm 40. Write a book about my experience, not just the divorce, but healing as a man in silence. Eventually, open a small wellness center for men, gym, therapy, barber, sauna, the works, a place where men can recharge mentally and emotionally without judgment. Closing thoughts to the men who are where I once was, to the men who might be where I was a year ago, blindsided, angry, confused, and betrayed. I want you to know something. You are not broken. You are not foolish for loving someone who turned out to be unworthy of your loyalty. And most importantly, you are not alone. We have to start being honest about what we go through, not just the pain, but the journey out of it. That's why I'm so grateful you created this space. True story. Your channel helped me when I felt invisible, when the world told me to man up instead of giving me space to grieve. This email is my way of paying it forward. I hope when people hear part 1, they also get to hear this part, because this part matters just as much, maybe even more. Success is the best revenge, but peace is the real prize. Thanks for reading this update. I appreciate everything you're doing. Update part 3. She tried to spin the block, but I kept it moving. Hey, true story, it's Daryl again. I've written you twice already. First about how my ex-wife asked for a temporary separation just so she could sneak off and go on a TikTok date, and then again to update you on how I've been doing since the divorce. I shared how I launched my mobile detailing business, got in the best shape of my life, and even met someone new, Maya, who's been a breath of fresh air after all the smoke and mirrors I dealt with in my marriage. Well, buckle up, because life has a way of throwing curveballs the second you start leveling up. I thought things would calm down once I got my peace back. I was wrong. Apparently, peace triggers chaos in people who can't create their own. But this is also the part where I remind everybody reading: no matter what gets thrown your way, you can still win if you stay grounded, focused, and unapologetically committed to your purpose. Let's get into it. Chapter 1, Business Booming. And that's when they start hating. So clean break detailing started out as just a weekend hustle. By the time I wrote you the second email, I had 5 recurring clients, a dealership, and big plans for expansion. Well, 2 months after that update, things exploded. My Instagram started picking up traction thanks to a couple of viral reels showing some insane before and after transformations. One reel in particular, this filthy red Dodge Charger that hadn't been washed in what looked like 2 years, got shared over 60,000 times. Bookings shot up like crazy. I had to buy a second van. Then, 2 months after that, I hired my first part-time employee, a young guy named Khalil. Hardworking, quiet, dependable, reminded me of myself in my early 20s. With his help, we doubled our output. I wasn't even detailing full-time anymore. I was managing, doing admin, and showing up for premium clients or specialty jobs. It felt surreal. And then, right when everything felt like it was clicking into place, she showed up again. Chapter 2. The Drive-By. Coincidence and the fake support. It started with a DM from a burner account. "Hey Daryl, is it okay if I reach out? I've been thinking about you a lot lately." No name, no profile picture, but I already knew who it was. I didn't respond, blocked it. A week later, I was at a client's home detailing a Tesla when a familiar silver Hyundai pulled up across the street. My heart dropped for a split second, and sure enough, out stepped my ex-wife, Tasha. She had the nerve to wave. I didn't wave back. She walked over slowly like she was hoping I'd meet her halfway. I stayed focused, buffing that side panel like I was in a trance. She finally got close enough and said, "Wow, Daryl, you're really doing it, huh?" I didn't look up. "Can I help you?" She smiled that fake smile, the one she used to use to get out of accountability. "No, just wanted to see you. I saw your video going around. I'm proud of you." I just nodded, didn't say thank you, didn't give her a single ounce of satisfaction. She stood there awkwardly for a few more seconds. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for how everything went down. I think about it all the time." That's when I looked up. I said, "You're not sorry, you're lonely. And this right here, you showing up unannounced like this? It's not cute. It's pathetic." She blinked a few times like she didn't expect me to speak with that much clarity. Then she started tearing up. And I'll admit, the old me wanted to comfort her, but I wasn't that man anymore. She left after that, slowly walked back to her car and drove off. And I knew that wouldn't be the last time I'd hear from her. Chapter 3, Sabotage Season. I thought maybe she just needed closure, that maybe she was embarrassed and would finally go away. Nope. About 2 weeks after that drive-by, I started getting hit with 1-star reviews on Google. No comments, just random 1-stars. I went from a perfect 5.0 to a 4.2 in 3 days. Then my business IG got hit with spam comments. "Scammer. Don't trust this guy. He stole money from my cousin. Terrible service." All from fake pages, 0 posts, no followers, just burner accounts. I knew who it was, no proof, of course. But come on, nobody else had that kind of motive. I could have gone online and aired it out. Could have responded with receipts or clapped back in the comments. But instead, I just kept working, focused on service, reached out to my loyal clients, and asked for fresh reviews to drown out the noise. And it worked. The real always outweighs the fake. My score went back up, the spam stopped, and whoever was behind it clearly got tired of not getting a reaction. But let me tell you, it was hard. I had nights where I wanted to scream, wanted to go off, but I kept hearing my therapist's voice in my head. Don't let someone who's already lost control of their own life make you lose control of yours. Chapter 4, Maya and the real test of growth. Now let's talk about Maya. She and I had been seeing each other for about 6 months by this point. Everything was solid. No red flags, no games, just consistency, laughs, and deep talks. She challenged me, supported me. We moved slow, no pressure, no rushing, but we were intentional. Well, one night, Maya and I went to a small outdoor jazz event. Nothing major, just some live music and food trucks. We were holding hands, vibing, when someone tapped her on the shoulder. It was Tasha. Yep, I'm not kidding. She had followed me there. She looked at Maya, then at me, then said, "Wow, so this is what we're doing now?" I calmly stepped between them. "Tasha, you need to leave." She looked like she wanted to cry. "You moved on that fast?" I replied. "No, you moved out that fast. I moved on after you left." Maya stayed silent. She knew not to feed into drama. That's one of the things I respect most about her. She just gave me space to handle it. Tasha left after mumbling something under her breath, and Maya and I just continued our evening like nothing happened. But that night, she asked me something important. "Are you fully over her?" "Like fully?" I looked her in the eye and said, "I was over her the moment she chose someone else without the decency to admit it." Maya just nodded. "Good, because I'm not here to compete with the ghost." That conversation solidified something in me. This woman was real. She wasn't here to fix me. She wasn't here to be my crutch. She was here to build, and she needed to know I wasn't dragging emotional baggage into her life. That night, we made it official. Nothing flashy, just two adults deciding to do things right. Chapter 5, Full Circle. A month later, Clean Break Detailing got featured in a local business magazine. They did a full spread on up-and-coming entrepreneurs in the city, and somehow my business ended up on the list. I got to tell my story. They even printed a quote I said during the interview. "Sometimes your greatest setback clears the path for your biggest comeback." When the article dropped, my phone lit up. Friends, old coworkers, even old clients reaching out saying how proud they were. One person even said, "Bro, your glow up could be a Netflix series." I laughed, but deep down I felt it, that sense of arrival. Not that I was done. I've still got mountains to climb, but I'm not where I was. I'm not broken. I'm not bitter. I'm built now. And if Tasha reads that article, good. Let her. Let her see what I became without her. Let her know she wasn't the engine. She was the weight I needed to drop. Chapter 6, Final Thoughts. Stay the course. For the men reading this, here's my final word. Focus will save your life. The enemy of progress is distraction, and sometimes that distraction comes wearing the same face you once loved. But if you stay the course, build your peace, and honor your healing, no weapon formed against you will prosper. I'm living proof. Tasha tried to sabotage my business. She tried to guilt trip her way back in. She tried to use tears, fake apologies, and internet pettiness, and none of it worked. Because once a man finds purpose, you can't buy him with pity. I'll probably write again in another year. Maybe by then I'll have a brick and mortar location for a clean break. Or maybe I'll have proposed to Maya, who knows, but right now I'm thriving. Quietly, consistently. And I want every man reading this to know you can too. Thanks for reading this long update. Thank you again for the platform.